Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas Eve, Eve, everyone. This is Santa, okay, the big D, and joining me, one of my reindeer, Ken the Bear fan. So, both our teams come. By the way, check us out. Spunky Spectrum Sports, driving top productions everywhere. I think Ken's got shows on Sunday, throughout the week, and then on Sunday, Bears play Sunday night, and of course, my team is in Indianapolis this weekend, so we might have to deal with a 44-year-old grandfather.
Yeah, sorry, I was having to fix where the show went. I was sent the wrong place. There we go. Now we're live on X. There we go. Let me share this out real quick. I had a technical difficulty there. I sent it to the wrong. I sent it to the hacked account initially.
Are you still recovering from that crazy game on Saturday night?
Am I what now?
Are you still recovering from that crazy game Saturday night?
Oh, dude! I mean, look, if you're a Bears fan and you're breathing today, your heart's in good condition. Because the Bears sure are trying to give people cardiac arrest. So yeah, if you're still breathing and you're a Bears or Packers fan, you have a healthy heart.
I have a couple friends who are Packer fans, and that wasn't necessarily the best game.
That was look at the Bears now. First off, Caleb Williams ties the Hall of Famer with an NFL record this year. 6 comebacks with under 2 minutes remaining in a game. Okay, that's an NFL record. Do you know who he shares that record with?
John Elway?
Good guess, but no. The Sheriff.
Oh, Peyton,
yeah. So I think the odds were 3% that the Bears win this game with like 2.5 minutes left. And then they go ahead and they win this game through all the improbability. You get but you look at Caleb, give him credit, drives him down there, throws it to Jody Walker, who gets the touchdown. Then they recover an onside kick. Good kick by Cairo, a knuckleballer. Dobbs made a mistake that a lot of guys made. He took his eyes off the ball to see who's coming to truck him. I get it. Human nature. So he takes his eye off a knuckleballer, doesn't see it into his hands. Bears recover. Then, Caleb with the bomb. So, I mean, your heart is in good condition. We've done this 6 times this year where we've had to come from behind or whatever. Just ridiculous. Your heart's in good condition. If you're a Bears fan, you know you have a healthy heart. They have tested it. They have put it to its limits. We are an 11-win football team. We are playing with house money at this point. 3 teams went from worst to first this year so far. See if it continues. I'm liking where the Bears are. What a game. And I give a lot of credit to Green Bay's defense. No Micah Parsons. You could tell the difference, but they still got the job done. Like, that probably had to be one of the best tackling games I've seen Green Bay play in a couple decades. And
I'll tell you what.
Co-host says, "Oh no, they're always this good." You can't even give Packer fans a compliment without them telling you you're wrong for giving them a compliment. But that was probably one of the best tackling games I've seen them play in a couple years. I mean, they didn't miss hardly a tackle.
I mean, Green Bay's the best tackling team to me in the NFL, and that's without Micah Paulson and Evan Williams. I mean, going into that game, I sort of knew it'd be a street fight. What happened a couple weeks ago, and it lived up. I mean, unfortunately, Jordan Love was concussed with I guess you would say is a borderline illegal.
No, there was nothing borderline about it. It
definitely didn't.
It wasn't a dirty play at all. And if you look at the play, Jordan Love lowered his helmet. And then the Packers fan tried to say, yeah, but he was getting hit from behind, so I went and rewatched the tape. No one was hitting Jordan Love from behind to make Jordan Love lower his helmet. Jordan Love lowered his helmet trying to draw the penalty, which a lot of quarterbacks in this league do. We see it every week. We see helmet-to-helmet hits where the quarterback has actually lowered their helmet. And it pisses me off because What the hell is the defender supposed to do at that point? He's trying to lower his helmet to not go helmet to helmet. What's the quarterback do? Lower his helmet to initiate contact, and the defender every single time gets called. Every single time the defender gets called, yet the quarterback lowers their head. Watch that tape. Jordan Love is lowering his head as the tackle is incoming. He lowered his head.
I think there was a play in the Jacksonville-Denver game at the end when Pat Bryan was absolutely laced, and the Zebras originally called it a penalty, but then I don't think they called it a penalty, picked up the flag.
Yeah, I mean, I get this whole protect the quarterback thing, but they still don't do it evenly, and then stuff like that happens. And
I mean,
Packer fans want to call. You want to talk about a dirty hit? Let's talk about a dirty hit on Dixon on DJ Moore. The play is over, and he comes up and he trucks him in the back, lower back, hits him in the lower back. It's like slams him in the lower back. That was a dirty ass hit. The beautiful piece of it. Guess who DJ scored that touchdown on to win the game? The same dude with the dirty hit. So that was a textbook dirty hit. But you look at what Booker did. What's Booker supposed to do? Not tackle the guy? I mean, is that what we're telling edge rushers now? Don't tackle the quarterback. Just was a two-hand touch for quarterbacks? Because even the flag they called him for putting his full body weight on him, no, he didn't. He had his left arm completely fully extended to keep his full body weight off him. And he tried to roll off him, not put his full body weight on him. I mean, I'm sorry. Some of these rules with the way they officiate are kind of garbage. And I wish you could review that play. Because, like, if I'm putting my full body weight on you, do you think my arm is fully extended on the ground to keep my body weight off you? Or am I bringing the arm in so I land my whole body on you? I'm bringing the arm in to land my whole body on you to get my 15 yards worth. So that was a BS call. And then, like, some of the Packer fans, like, dude, come on. That was not a dirty hit. Jordan Love actually lowered his head into the hit, trying to draw a foul. And it's a smart play because the quarterbacks get away with it in this league. Every quarterback does it to one degree or another. So I'm not saying it's just a Jordan Love thing. Don't get me wrong. But it's an easy 15 yards for a quarterback. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a concussion. He happened to get a concussion this time. But I'm also wondering if maybe he wasn't already partially concussed or concussed before that play from some of the other hits he had taken in the game where they didn't even look at him.
I mean, especially with what happened to T. Higgins a few weeks ago, it seems like sometimes concussions are missed. Maybe that's what happened with Tua a few years ago, but I don't know.
Look at Brisker last year. He, at the end of the Tennessee game, he just straight out lays out a guy. He gets up and walks away. The guy he hit is laid out, has to be carted off the field. He plays the rest of the game. The next week, they're going to play Jacksonville in London. They're getting on the airplane, and that's when we find out for the first time that Jaquan Brisker has a concussion because he couldn't fly to London because he had a concussion. No one knew he had a concussion until they left to go to England. And that's when it was disclosed he had a concussion. He played the rest of that game. No one had a clue, and then he was out the rest of the season. So concussions are a weird animal. And for as good as the NFL thinks they are, I'm wondering if Love had maybe already been concussed by that point, but because of the hit, they said, well, we're going to look at you. And that's when they figured out, oh, you're concussed. But then, like, that whole play, really, I mean, Jordan Love lowered his helmet. That's, I'm sorry. It was not a dirty play. And then to be honest with you, Malik Willis, talk about putting some tape out there. I think
he was saving himself some money.
Yeah, I think he did a better job in some ways than Love did because we know Love. We don't know Willis. And Willis.
I'll tell you this. The Bears were not ready for Malik Willis's athleticism, but then again, nobody was.
Well, no, because he played a couple games last year, but you haven't seen him since like week 5 or 6 last year. So I mean, you didn't prepare for that coming into the week. Now, will the Bears be prepared for Willis and Love come the playoffs? Yeah, they will. Because now they have tape and they've played both. So that's better for the Bears. I'll give Green Bay credit for that game, man. Their defense, you lost one of the best pass rushers in the game, a top 5 pass rusher. And I don't want to say you didn't skip a beat. Not that you didn't skip a beat, because you took a high-powered offense and kept them to about 9 points for most of the game. Um, they did very well, and they boxed. They didn't let Caleb get outside to escape. They made him stay in the pocket more. And that's on their linebackers. Did a phenomenal job. Obviously without having Rome and Luther Burden, that may have played a little bit of effect with the Bears passing game, but they were effective enough. But the Packers still had issues with the run game. We still averaged over 5 yards a clip. And the Bears probably should have kicked the field goal or used a different play on that trick play that went awry in the first quarter. But no, the Packers played really well, and the Bears defense, while frustrating, they would bend, but they wouldn't break. So that kept the game close as the offense kind of struggled a little bit against Green Bay's defense. It was a good NFC North football.
Yeah, that looked like a game Dick Butkus and Vince Lombardi would have enjoyed from 60 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good hits. I mean, there was drama, there was excitement, the emotions were up, they were down.
That's the loudest I've heard Soldier Field in a long time.
Dude, that was. I've been to some loud games at Soldier Field. I've heard loud games at Soldier Field, but I think because it was the Packers, and I've been to big Packer games at Soldier Field. I was at the '85 Monday Night Football Bears-Packers game where the Fridge scored his first touchdown. I was actually sitting in that end zone where he scored, and it was loud, but I don't think it was as loud as it was. I think it's partially because you had the Packers, and then the way that game happened. I mean, that place was on fire.
And I mean, just the way the game ended, because for a while it looked like Green Bay was going to win. I mean, it was 16.
Dude, we had like
and it looked like the Bears self-destructed.
Yeah, it was like 0.3%.
It looked like the Bears self-destructed by not kicking the field goal before the 2-minute warning.
I mean, it looked like I think we had less than 3% or 1%, whatever that was, when we got the ball that first possession, the second to last possession, the Jody Walker touchdown. When we got the ball, Green Bay's odds of winning were over 97%. And then Caleb marches them down the field, gets a touchdown. They onside kick, and again, I'll tell you what, we did the Hallis Hall on Sunday morning, which for us is normally a pregame, but obviously this week was a postgame. My players of the game, there's Adam. One of my players of the game for this Bears game was Cairo Santos.
I'll tell you what, that was a great onside kick. And then thinking back to the NFC Championship game, Green Bay, Seattle, I'm like, oh no, he did it. Oh no, Green Bay's. As soon as that happened, I'm like, Green Bay's going to lose.
Well, it wasn't just the onside kick that by Santos isn't why I would give him the game ball. That was a great kick by him. He did everything. That's a hard kick to do, and that's the third one that he's converted. I don't know. He might lead the NFL in converted onside kicks right now, active kicks. He may. I'm not sure I have to look that one up. But his field goals, 48 and 51 in that wind. Look at, I don't want to hear anyone give me any static about, Caleb doesn't have arm strength and accuracy. In a football game where kickers from 42 and 51 yards out have to bend the ball like Beckham to get it up to the uprights, he threw an absolute dime to DJ Moore. That ball was in the air for 60 yards. When Caleb let that ball go, he was standing on the Bears' 45-yard line. DJ caught that ball about 5 yards deep into the end zone. That ball went through the air for 60 yards, and it didn't look like it moved at all. He threw a dime to DJ, 60 yards in that win.
Where does that rank? So quickly, Ken, before I bring in Adam, where does that Caleb's throw rank in terms of best throws we've seen this year?
It would probably rank in the top 5 somewhere. I mean, I have to start looking at the other ones from throughout the year. I mean, 60 yards in the air in that wind to be an absolute rope of a dime. Ridiculous throw. We have to look at some of the other really good throws from this year, but it's got to be probably in the top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, no question. And now the Bears playoff spot, 49ers.
Well, because Adam, thank you, my friend. Adam hooked me up, man. Adam hooked a brother up. He beat the Lions. I was like, Adam's giving us a Christmas.
And you had your own crazy game on Sunday.
I didn't watch the game.
Christmas.
I was at work.
Oh, it's that time of year, dude. So
I listened on XM though.
Final play. Watching that final play. That was the game I watched.
I didn't understand. I get it. It was an offensive penalty, and that stops it. But that was just a big offensive penalty, and it was
a legit penalty though. When you watch the replay, you could see where St. Brown stiff-armed him away, right? What got me was, and this is probably what you didn't translate so well to you listening to it on the radio in the truck. So everyone's milling around like, looking like, okay, who won this game? Because no one knows who won. The play happens, and there's no celebration really. There's a little bit of celebration by both teams, but then everyone's kind of milling around because there's a flag, and they're like, okay. And the coaches are all looking. Everyone's looking around. The umps they're huddled, together talking, and you can see them discussing things. And the coaches have these looks like, and the players have these looks like, like, what the hell? I mean, the looks were just something else. And this is why it's so controversial. The referee comes out and goes and turns on the mic to explain. You could have heard a pin drop in Ford Field. When he clicked that mic on and started to speak, everyone in the stadium just not a word. The ruling on the field is a touchdown. Crowd goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's a flag on the play. Pass interference, offense, number 14. The penalty is disallowed. The game is, then he reads it and he goes, the game is over. And everyone starts cheering and he goes, no, the touchdown's not good. Pittsburgh wins. And everyone starts booing. And it was like, he should have just come out and said, pass interference, offensive pass interference, right? Touchdown is negated. Game is over. He would have said just that. But the way he said it was like, here, Lions fans, you scored a touchdown. Let me take my hand, shove it in your chest, rip your heart out, throw it on the ground, and do a dance on it.
I would argue Detroit's bigger beef was on the first OPI when that didn't look like OPI. That just looked like a play. I mean, that should have been.
I've learned not to bitch and moan about. Look, we shouldn't bitch and moan about missed calls because here's the thing. I remember the face mask on Caleb Williams that was not called and cost the Bears was a turnover on downs, whatnot, in the Vikings game. But then there were calls that we got that other teams like, well, so look, in the aggregate, you get some calls that go your way because people always remember, that shouldn't have been PI. Yeah, but what about the PI you got in the third quarter? That shouldn't have been PI either, and you took that and scored a touchdown. So I always find it as tick for tack. And it's like fans always remember the thing that they think wronged them. Like, oh, my God, our wide receiver just drops the ball all the time. You mean the one drop he had in the game? What about the other 10 catches and 2 of them were touchdowns? Oh, but that drop was so big, they need to cut him. What about all the other catches in that game? Or that's like going, they should just cut Jahmyr Gibbs because that fumble. Really?
No.
I mean, but there are fans in it. There are fans right now who want to get rid of Goff up in Detroit because they lost.
I heard they're not bringing him back next year.
He's still in their contract, but it's an out year. They can escape his contract next year.
Detroit wins.
Fans are. I hate to say this, so please, people, don't take this the wrong way, but fans are fucking stupid.
That's why they're fanatics and not GMs. By the way, Adam, speaking of crazy throws and crazy catches, how about that one at the end of the first half when Aaron Rodgers, sure, it's Ford Field, throws another Hail Mary to Kenneth Gainwell?
Look, if Gainwell wouldn't have tripped, he probably wouldn't have caught that ball.
Well, and then you get right, and then Adam, you bring up a good point. You get the luck factor. My dude hadn't tripped, probably doesn't catch it. How many times have we seen plays where your guy trips and all of a sudden makes this great catch? Oh my God, what an amazing catch! What a great receiver! And then the next week, he doesn't trip, he doesn't catch the ball. And
well, Kenneth
Steve, I don't always say you're stupid. You're just a Packer fan. So,
Well, if you're in a final this week, Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the guy to have.
I just think it's funny, but the way fans go about these things, man. And
DK
look, if you're
Metcalf?
watching this show, you're probably not one of those fans because you're probably not a casual fan because you look more into it and you seek us out and watch us. And like Steven knows the policy. Steve is on a lot of our shows and he talks a lot of football with us and leaves a lot of comments. And I just say he's stupid because he's a Packer fan. Because anyone who wears that puke color has got to be a little mentally disturbed. But I mean, no, Steve knows football, man. He gets it. Do you think he's going to run around and say, "Oh my God, we need to cut Romeo Dobbs"? Because there are some Packer fans who are like, "Romeo Dobbs must go because he didn't recover the onside kick." Romeo Dobbs had a tough job. If you think about it, it's not that easy. It's not a perfectly thrown spiral from your quarterback. It's a knuckleballer coming from a kicker in a high tension area. And what did he do? The same mistake that he's made as a receiver, that DJ Moore has made, that best receivers in this game make. He took his eyes off the ball for a split second to see how he was going to get trucked by the Bears defenders, right? When he caught that ball.
I mean, I've seen guys drop onside kicks. I mean, and by the way, Romeo Dobbs had a great game, 5 for 84 and a touchdown. He called.
Oh, some of these Packer fans are roasting him. Like, he needs to be gone, this, that, and the other. That's like, look, even your star players are going to make errors and are prone to having errors happen to them when they don't do the very basic fundamentals, like watch the ball into your hands. How many times have we seen some of the best receivers in this game, like Jamar Chase, take their eyes off the ball and drop an easy one?
Jamar Chase had a big drop this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't matter because they were facing Quinn Harris.
Right. I mean, the point there, though, Dylan, is the fundamental piece of it. Dobbs made the same mistake that Chase will make, that Devontae Adams will make, that Malik Neighbors will make, that DJ Moore has made. Right, all these receivers are all great receivers, but every so often they make an error. But some of these Packer fans want this guy like strung up from his toenails outside of a Lambeau.
Well, speaking of wide receiver mistakes, one guy's mistake is going to cost him a lot of money. DK Metcalf has been suspended 2 games for his incident in Detroit the other night. I must say, DK's lucky he could come back for the playoffs.
My question is why do you go to the sideline by the fans there during the game? I don't get why you leave the bench area.
I'm just curious, what did the fan even say?
Well, that's where there's controversy. According to DK, there was a racial component and a personal component to it. But according to the Lions fan and his Lions fan buddies, DK just came over to punch him.
No, you heard him. No, you could see that they were bickering back and forth the whole time if you watched the whole thing.
I mean, bottom line, though, DK, why the hell would you go over there to have security go over there? Why are you going over there during the game? I mean, I don't think he got fined $45 million, Steve. Steve asked, I know you can't, I'm not sure. Yeah, you got the, yes. Hey, Adam, did DK get fined $45 million?
I saw something about it, but I really don't know. I didn't really look in depth.
Let me see. I'll look up the fun. Hey, Steve, I'm going to do your favorite thing. I'm going to Grok.
And this is really going to, I'm going to be there on Sunday. I'm going to the game. I'm driving up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm driving up. Ken, I busted my ass for a month. I feel I deserve a day of freedom.
Dude, no, you deserve it with all you've been working.
I got tickets really cheap, so.
The fine really cheap.
And, well, here's the funny thing. Like, now that there's no double coverage on DK, we don't have a 1 or 2, and don't tell me MVS, and don't tell me Kenneth Gainwell is like our number 1 receiver.
Okay, DK did not receive a separate fine along with his suspension. However, the NFL suspended Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf for 2 games without pay. So
that's going to cost them $45 million.
The suspension includes forfeiting about $555,556 a game, plus Potential voiding of a $45 million in future contract guarantees. That's where Steve's question comes from.
So there were bonuses that were going to be met.
Well, future contract guarantees, it could void them out. It may be what they're alluding to. Player conduct clause.
Gotcha.
That's a
So
big.
Steve says with the close-up video of what the dude said to DK, what did the dude say to DK?
And those two definitely had a relationship. Those two definitely, because I remember hearing stories about how that fan said something to DK when he was in Seattle.
Let's see if I can find it on Grok. There are conflicting accounts about what the Detroit Lions fan identified as Ryan Kennedy said to DK Metcalf during their altercation. The fans' version, Kennedy told reporters that he simply called Metcalf by his full legal name.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
Often referred to as his government name. He claimed Metcalf dislikes being called that, and it provoked the reaction where Metcalf grabbed his shirt and swung at him. Metcalf's side, via sources, multiple reports, including from former player Chad Johnson and James Harrison, who spoke directly to Metcalf, states that the fan used a racial slur, the N-word, toward Metcalf and a derogatory term, the C-word, about his mother. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero also reported a source close to Metcalf saying the fan called him something we both know you don't call a black man and insulted his mother. The fan's denial through a statement from his attorney categorically denies using the N or C word or any racial, misogynic, blah, blah, blah legal word. Additional context, two reportedly have prior history, alluding to what Dylan said. Metcalf had reported the same fan security during a previous game when he was with the Seahawks. Video from after the incident shows the fan returning to his seat saying, "That was the goal, folks," suggesting he intended to provoke reaction. No audio of the exact words exists publicly, so the truth remains disputed. Wow. It's crazy. And by the way, I love Grok. Grok is great for this kind of thing.
I did it for my AI and digital marketing class. Trust me.
I would tend to believe the player more than the fan in this. I'm sorry, because he's not. If I called you by your full legal name, you're not leaving the bench to mix it up with me, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but if I go Adam McNally,
yes, sir,
you're like, whatever. I'm by the bench. Maybe you throw me the bird, but if I go, hey, AM. Your mom's a C word, and you might come over then. You know what I'm saying? And he may have called DK by his name as part of the altercation. Both things could be true.
Yeah, I don't know the video. I saw like multiple views, but I could never really make out what was fully said.
I agree with Steve, though. See, Steve says I call him stupid all the time. But I'm agree with Steve here. DK should have known better. He's a pro athlete, man. You know, but I mean, look at just because someone's a pro athlete, like a wrestler or a baseball player, doesn't give you freedom to call them, to call them whatever you want and to say things you shouldn't say.
I mean, Ron Artest missed an entire NBA season for the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah. I mean, just because
That
you're
was
a fan
like
doesn't
14
mean
rows deep, wasn't it?
just because you're a fan doesn't mean you get carte blanche to say whatever you want to a player.
Mm-hmm. I found Crown caller. We're all eating. I love it.
Hey, by the way, Adam,
what do you got?
By the way, Adam, what the heck is going on with the Ravens right now? I mean, are the Ravens just going to hand Pittsburgh the AFC North?
What do you mean? The Steelers win on Sunday. They clinched the division.
Yeah.
Or if the Ravens lose on Saturday?
Yeah, Steve, he did. Ron Artest changed his name to Meta World Peace. I remember when he did that.
Yeah, the Ravens lose. I'd rather see the Steelers win though. But I think Myles Garrett is going to break the sack record against TJ Watt.
Well, he's got what, 2 games to get a half a sack?
a full
Yeah, well,
stride.
I mean, I think it. If it happens against T.J. Watt and he breaks his own record, I wonder if T.J. Watt's going to acknowledge him or whatever.
Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, because right now he's tied with Watt, but then the half tackle he's tied with Strahan, right?
He's the half sack behind Watt. I thought for the
And
record.
No,
Strahan.
Strahan has the record, and he's a half sack behind Strahan.
Oh man, Ken, what are you eating?
Pizza.
I see that. What kind?
No, just cheese, pepperoni, and sausage.
Well, I'm eating too. I just got home. I'm like, I need to eat. I bought food, and I'm like, I gotta eat. And then my computer started getting all goofy. Well, I was hoping Rich was gonna be here, but I do have a trivia question.
Ooh, send it.
I never have trivia. All right. So, what are the top 10 colleges with the most NFL players?
Oh,
University of Southern California.
There's 10 of them.
Iowa.
Top 10.
Iowa.
No.
USC.
USC is on there.
USC. What about Penn State?
Yes, sir. 7.
Ohio.
State.
3.
Bama.
Michigan.
Bama. 5.
Michigan.
4.
Go Dogs, Georgia.
8.
Wisconsin.
No.
Really? Because they have a lot. I know at least 4 or 5 guys from Wisconsin.
This is all time, so.
UT. Texas.
No.
Well, then would Miami be on the list then?
I thought Miami would have been on here, but they're not. I was surprised.
Because like that one team, the entire freaking team.
I was surprised by this too, because the thing about Ray Lewis got drafted out of there, Vinny Testaverde got drafted out of there, Sean Taylor got drafted out of there.
Yeah.
I was highly surprised that Miami was not on this list.
Florida.
We have UCLA and USC should both be on the list then, probably.
UCLA is not on the list.
Really?
Florida.
Florida is 10.
Yeah, that's a good one. Florida.
Okay, Florida State.
Florida State is not on the list.
How many do we have left to go here?
3.
3.
Clemson.
Nope.
Tennessee.
Nope.
Auburn.
No.
Louisiana State University.
Ooh, LSU, yeah.
Yep, 6.
All right, so 2 to go. Not Colorado.
Oh, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame
number 1.
Yeah, Notre Dame's a good one. Yeah. So we need one more.
We need number 9.
Tell us what conference that team plays in, because I think
I don't even know if they're what conference they're in.
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oklahoma, number 9.
I'm surprised Miami's not on that list.
I was surprised too. I really was.
Miami was dirt poop until the 80s.
That's like Oregon, like up until the last couple of years, never got anyone drafted.
Right, and then all of a sudden, they had.
But that's why I thought you'd have more Big Ten, because Iowa linemen and tight ends come out of that place like it's nothing.
It's not like I was producing 5-star wide receivers, though.
They're producing at least 1 to 2 NFL players per draft.
Yeah, but that's only recently, though.
Dallas Clark.
80 or early 2000s.
U of I, and like U of I, I'm surprised U of I is on the list, because maybe because of the last decade or two, but they used to produce. They've produced a ton of Hall of Famers in the NFL. I mean it's, but yeah, you're talking a long history, man.
Oh, here comes Rich. Damn it! Damn it!
Everyone hide when he gets here.
All right.
Yeah, hold on. I'll get ready.
Rich, you can pop in whenever you're ready, buddy.
Oh, is he in the back right now? Let me hide
Yeah.
before he gets here.
I'm good.
Everyone hide.
Yeah.
Hi, Rich. You just missed it. I just did the question. I didn't know you were coming on. I knew you were coming. Might be coming on, but you didn't. So, did you get a chance to look it up, or do you want to guess?
I didn't look it up, but strictly by wins, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm go 10
Top-
winningest, 10
No.
most winningest
Top
teams,
10
right?
colleges with the most NFL players.
Or the NFL players. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's see what I can come up with. I'm gonna start with the ones that you and I may have talked about earlier, because I know they're obvious. Ohio State,
Yes.
Michigan,
Yes.
Alabama,
3, 4, 5,
Yes.
Penn State,
7.
Nebraska.
Nebraska's not on there.
Nebraska is not. Okay, hold on. Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama.
Hold on. Bring
Penn
Jamie
State.
in for that.
So I got 4, right?
Jamie, I'm letting you and Rich because we just talked about this one, but top 10 colleges with the most NFL players.
How about LSU?
LSU
Yes.
is on there. 6.
Notre Dame.
Number
Number
1.
one.
Unfortunately, that's probably pretty obvious.
Jamie, was Joe coming over or no?
Georgia?
No, he's run down and he's tired. It was his last day of school today.
Georgia was 8, Rich.
Go Dogs! Who sick 'em?
USC?
Number 2.
That's not surprising.
How about
Yeah.
Oklahoma?
Number 9.
Awesome.
What am I miss? What number am I missing?
10.
Huh?
10.
Oh shoot! Did I say Florida State yet?
They're not on there.
You're in the right area. You're in the right state. Just go a little east.
I was gonna say,
Gators,
is it
Florida.
Miami?
Nope.
Jamie just said it. Florida.
Then it's got to be Florida. Yeah.
Chomp, chomp.
Chomp. All right, that was
I know
mine.
Nebraska had a hell of a run there, where they
They
were
did.
sending
Well,
6,
Nebraska
7, 8
would have
guys a season.
made a list if the other guy didn't go to the USFL draft in '84.
Rozier.
Yep.
Where'd he go? The Maulers.
Yep.
Then he played in the NFL too.
Houston Oilers.
Yep.
Yep. He just couldn't. He's another one. Couldn't stop getting hurt.
Mhm.
Yeah, a few guys couldn't get hurt. I think of who was that Penn State running back in the day?
Kajanya Carter.
John
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
Wow, that guy was good. Just
Hey, speaking
couldn't.
of guys getting hurt, another quarterback tears an ACL this weekend.
Well, actually, going to mention Terra's ACL, but he's done for the year.
He may as well have with what he did. Cracked his kneecap and dislocated the knee bone from the bone that goes into the leg.
Let's just say this. Going to mention.
Yeah, that sounds like you'd rather have a totally ACL, MCL tear.
Jordan Love, right?
He only got a concussion. He's out. I know he's out this
Yeah,
week.
Jordan loves concussion, but they're saying he may not play this week.
Who tore his
I think
ACL?
I think he's already rolled out, Rich.
No, I'm hearing
Is he rolled-
Love
I knew
participated.
you.
Okay.
Goff. Not Goff, but oh shoot. Yeah, I'll be all right.
The
You sure?
Packers might be in trouble if Love
Who's
doesn't
the one
play
who tore
this
his
week.
ACL?
Minshew, they said it was possible. Maybe
Minshew,
Detroit
yes,
is the-
Minshew. Yep.
Yeah, but with Love, if he doesn't play this week, they don't know if Willis is going to go because he hurt his shoulder in the last play of regulation.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Willis
So
looked
Green
pretty
Bay,
good.
you know who their third quarterback is in Green Bay?
Yeah, it's Jalen Reed.
No.
It
Their
was. Who
third
is it?
quarterback is Josh Jacobs.
Oh, okay.
And he's not the epitome of health right now himself. He didn't play most of the fourth, I think after, was it in the third?
You sure they weren't holding him out because they knew he might have to be a quarterback?
Well, dude, for like the last quarter and a half, I want to say halfway through the third, you stopped seeing him.
Well,
There
Jake,
are other
that
guys
knee-
they could run too well, but you stopped seeing Josh.
I mean, Emmanuel Wilson isn't bad.
No, he's not
Yeah,
bad.
but his
but
knee is
Jacob
still
has a
banged up.
knee- He has a knee and something else. He's got two issues he's been battling the last couple of weeks. Steve probably knows.
Man, that salted caramel by Crown is really good. Especially
Yeah, but
with
the big one that
especially
they're
with hot
concerned
chocolate.
about is that knee. The big one, that's because they've said it's a bone contusion, which is nothing but if you ever had one, it's nothing but
Minshew.
pain.
It's nothing but pain. It's just a bruising, like it never goes away.
Yeah, but a bone bruise you feel every time it makes contact with something, whether it's your pant leg, whether it's a shoe, whether it's whatever. And and then it's a pain tolerance thing on top of everything else. So, and all a bone bruise is an accumulation of blood on the bone. That's all it is. But as long as you don't have a fracture underneath it, you're okay.
Well, Green Bay might be in trouble because look at
Yeah.
Green
I don't
Bay.
know. I don't know. Lamar Jackson didn't exactly finish Sunday night in one piece.
Well, Green Bay's got Baltimore this week.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore still thinks they have a chance.
I
So
think
they're
it's
playing to get it. Green Bay is not coming in terribly healthy. Their defense is still mighty good. But offensively, they're really dragging ass, and their defense isn't scoring points. They're playing good D, but they're not getting turnovers and they're not scoring points. So it's great. Maybe they can hold Lamar and company to a field goal, but if their offense comes in with no Malik, with no Love, and I mean, dude, you can see a game that ends 3-0.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, it could be
But
bad.
the thing
Go ahead.
and see, the other part of that too is the Steelers are going to know by the time they play Sunday whether that game means anything. Because if Baltimore loses, they're out. Pittsburgh's got the division locked up, and they've got 2 weeks to rest guys and all that kind of stuff. And they don't have to be concerned about Myles Garrett killing Rodgers, which is a distinct possibility. Let's be honest. You want to talk about a diamond in the rough? It's Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns. Come on, let's be honest here.
They're banged up
you get TJ Watt a chance to get back. Get some of these other guys that have been banged up.
Let me ask you this then, Rich, because we talked about this on the morning show today, and I was surprised when I actually got on Grok and looked at some numbers. Would you prefer to have the first round bye or to play in Wild Card Weekend?
Who am I playing Wild Card Weekend?
Doesn't matter. Would you rather play or take the bye?
If I'm playing anybody but Buffalo, I want to play. If I would have to play Buffalo, I want the bye.
Jamie, how about you? And when I say this, I don't mean this in terms of this year in the playoffs, just in general. Jamie, what about you? Do you want the bye or do you want to play Wild Card Weekend?
Well, just in general, the bye.
What about you, Jamie?
I just say I'd rather play Wild Card Weekend. That first round bye, it's a great thing, but you're not staying fresh and you're not staying loose.
And that's a fair argument. That's an argument you hear a lot. Adam, what about you?
I've got a better question.
Well, hold on, let me finish this out, Dylan, and I'm going to give you this.
It didn't work for the Lions last year.
Does this Steve dude? Hey, I know I love reading the comments, but this Steve dude want to come on by chance?
Oh, I don't know. He drops a
Steve,
link.
do you want to come on? I don't know how to get a hold of you, but you're more than welcome to if you want.
He's on JB's YouTube. So while we figure this out, the statistics are this. Yeah, he said sure he'll come on.
Does anyone know how to send him a link?
Just put it in the comments here, and then he can grab it off there and type it in.
No, I'm not putting the link in the YouTube. Are you crazy? Then everyone and their mom can join.
Shit, that's true.
We could get.
Are you friends with them anywhere?
I don't think so. Steve, if you're on X, are you following me on X? Because then if we follow each other, I can send it to you in a DM. Or on Facebook. If you follow me on Facebook, I don't think we follow each other on Facebook. I barely go on Facebook.
I'd rather have the bye.
Okay.
But wait. Under this scenario right now, if the Ravens lose Sunday or Saturday, and all of a sudden we're resting players, that is 3 weeks of non-football for those starters.
And that's a good point. Dylan, would you rather have the bye or play the wild card weekend?
I think it depends on who my next game is. If we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't care.
The next opponent's irrelevant, just like in general. Would you rather? Because you have some fans say, I want the bye. We want the bye. We want the bye. We don't care. Other fans are like, well, I don't want the bye because what Jamie said and what Adam just said. And look, they're both. Here are the arguments. What Jamie and Adam have said basically is, I wanted the bye. I want to get healthy. I want to rest my players. I don't want the bye because if I take the bye, then I lose inertia, I lose momentum, and I'm stale. Rich is like, rest the players. So I asked Grok this question this morning. He broke down the percentages. Not on X and doesn't have Facebook. Oh God, Steve, I know we're gonna get all the. But anyways, let me kick this out and we'll figure this out. The teams that have the bye in the divisional round win 70% of the games in the divisional round. So if you take the bye, you have a 70% chance of winning your divisional round game if you have the bye. So the answer is you always want the bye.
I remember.
Well, in my logic.
But here's the problem, though. It didn't work for the Lions last year, and it didn't work for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, but they're still part of
they lost to
they're part of the overwhelming.
It didn't work for the Lions
they're
last
part
year.
of the minority. There's 30%. They're part of that 30%, not part of the 70%.
Right. The logic that I was using for that was depending on your, and I agree with Dylan. It depends on your situation. If you've got guys that are banged up, that are important guys in your team. Let's use the Packers as an example. Okay. If you were the Packers, you got a banged up Jacobs, you got a banged up Watson, you got a banged up Jordan Love. Yeah, you want the bye if you can get it. They're not going to, but you would want the bye if you could get it. Now, if you're a team like New England, who outside of Travion Henderson getting that concussion last night is really pretty healthy, they probably don't care. It doesn't much matter. But if you have some important guys that need an extra week, then yeah, you want that bye. Yeah, of course.
I thought the stat that that teams that have to take the bye or receive the bye have a 70% win rate in their divisional round game was pretty significant. We all know it's a stat driven league.
I don't know how to get a hold of this Steve dude.
Yeah,
interesting. On second thought, I would take the bye, but like I said, this year I think it's wide open. Just get into the dance, and I think that it's anybody's this year. It really is.
Hey, by the way, you know what team we haven't talked about that might have thrown itself into thrown a monkey wrench into who gets the number one seed?
Are you going to bring up the Purdy Express?
Meow.
Got my Bills into the playoffs last night. Thank you, San Francisco, for beating Old Man Rivers.
Old Man Rivers. Although he's better than you.
What do you mean the Niners went out? They're going to be the number one seed.
San Francisco's not going to not a legitimate number one seed. I don't think that defense is good enough.
They're held by duct tape and glue, right, Ken?
Okay, but every team in the NFC, Dylan, you look at the NFC top to bottom, find me a team that doesn't have a hole. I'm waiting. I'll include Ken's Bears because outside their receiving core is a mash unit right now.
Seattle.
Sam Darnold can't play in primetime.
Sam Darnold can't play in a big game.
What did he do Thursday night?
I can find
That was a
hole
big
in
game. That was a
Pennington.
primetime game Thursday night.
I can find holes with every team. Pittsburgh on. Pittsburgh's receiving core is still not that great.
There's not
But you
a
have a
great
300-pound tight end, which nobody else in the league has.
there's not a great
You got a point there, Jamie.
That's genius, and that's Arthur Smith's. That ain't Tomlin. That's Arthur Smith doing that.
there's not a great team in the NFL this year. I mean, Sam Darnold might pee his pants in prime time. The Rams special teams unit was abysmal, and the secondary couldn't stop anyone. If the Rams face AJ Brown, they are going to be scared to death. The Bears don't have a lot of experience in big games. Panthers and Bucks, I guess, are going to end up in the playoffs.
The experience, Dylan, the experience factor isn't my concern with Chicago. I'll save Ken the heart attack on this one. The health of their receiving core is their issue right now because really, DJ Moore's banged up. He was the only healthy one going in.
Rich,
Luther Burden was hurt, and
they both could have gone this week, but the team held them out to kind of save them from themselves. That's not the issue with Chicago. Maybe for last week it was, sure. In the playoffs, that's not going to be the issue because they're going to have them all back. Because Burden could have played. They could both play right now if they had to. The issue with Chicago is that we do not put enough pressure on quarterbacks. That's the hole with Chicago. Is we give quarterbacks too much time to throw the football. That's the problem with Chicago.
Yeah, other than Montez Sweat, the Bears don't have a pass rush.
Well, they do with Booker, but the interior, Gervin Dexter this year has taken a step back. He's had a couple plays in the last few games, and the old man that we Grady Jarrett has not had a good year in Chicago.
The thing is, though, Ken, you got the defense is at least smart enough to know what they don't know. And, in terms of they have those DBs back there, they're not forcing the DBs to go one-on-one with safety blitzes and corner blitzes all the time and all that kind of stuff. They're playing smart, rushing 4, maybe 5, dropping into coverage, which is why they lead the leading in picks. And that I think is a big plus to what the defensive unit and the defensive coaching staff on your team is.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like the two Toms were saying during the game, and it didn't really occur to me till I think it was one of the Toms said it. They said that this defense reminded them of the 06 team. And I concur. Bend, don't break. That was 06's defense. The biggest difference, though, and get turnovers, which they do just like the 06 team does. The difference being the 06 team scored a lot of defensive touchdowns. This Bears defense just gets you turnovers. They don't score defensive touchdowns. But the big difference between the 06 team and this team is you have an offense that can actually score touchdowns. So, but yeah, it's a valid point, Rich. Valid point.
And I mean, you look at it this year, especially AFC-wise, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow not making the playoffs. Lamar may not make the playoffs this year. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to win the AFC. Somebody's going to win the NFC. This might be the year for the Bills to make the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers could end up with us in his second Super Bowl. Maybe Bo Nix. Maybe Drake May. Maybe
I think your odds are it's going to be one of these young kids.
Maybe Justin Herbert, or maybe the guy in Jacksonville. I don't know what his name is. I don't know.
Sunshine. I will tell you this, though. I mean, this is probably the most complete team Jacksonville's had in a long time. With getting a second receiver, which I've been harping the Steelers needed to get, and they kind of got in Thielen, but not completely.
I mean,
but with you guys getting that second receiver, Travis Etienne playing the way he's supposed to play, and not dicking around like he did last year, and that defense playing well. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's got who's a talent. There hasn't been a question about talent. They just haven't performed.
I'll tell you,
this year they're performing.
I'll tell you this, Rich. There were 3 coaching hires who have made huge differences this year. One of them is Ben Johnson, who's my coach of the year in Chicago. One of them is Mike Vrabel in New England, and Liam Cohen's the third. Have you seen how Baker Mayfield's regressed this year? You wonder why? Liam Cohen's not coaching Baker; he's coaching Trevor, and Liam Cohen is coaching Trevor Hall. And look at those throws. I mean, the throw he turned Parker Washington to Jimmy Smith 2.0.
I still think Baker. I honestly think Baker is still hurt.
Yeah,
and he's trying to play through it, and a lot of times that, he's too tough for his own good a lot of times.
Yep.
And the team suffers because of it. I think he's still hurt because the first half of the year he was an MVP candidate, no questions asked. He was top 3, top 4 for MVP. The last half of the season, I wouldn't put him. I couldn't trust him.
Well, in Jacksonville, I talk about the Bears being disrespected. What about Jacksonville? Like, no one even talks about them. And they very quietly put together a pretty stellar season. And Liam Cohen should be in the coach of year discussion with Ben Johnson and Vrabel. And I think it comes down between Ben Johnson and Cohen. Vrabel won it as a rookie coach already, right? As a first-year coach of the team. I think if it came down to like, okay, well, they're both, but he's already won it, so they'll give it to the other guy kind of thing. To me, it comes down to those two guys who are not only just first-year head coaches with their new teams, but aren't they both first-time ever head coaches?
They are. There's also one other thing, though, with Vrabel. You knew when Vrabel came in, wherever he was going to go, he was going to make a difference and improvement right out of the box. Yeah. Because he was not a bad coach in Tennessee. He had shit surroundings in Tennessee.
And by the way, Tennessee's regretting firing Vrabel now, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, but I mean, if Vrabel would have gone to Chicago, if Vrabel would have gone to Miami, if Vrabel would have gone wherever, he could have gone any place and made an impact. So, I think that's the difference because there were questions about Cohen. There were a lot of questions about Ben Johnson. And they've persevered through all those questions and everything and led their teams to really good seasons right now. You expected Vrabel to make a positive impact the minute he walked in the door. There was no questions about that.
That's because Vrabel had a track history in the NFL, which people are like, but look, you could tell that it was the organization, not him, that made that team go south. With Ben and Cohen, I agree. 2 OCs that you looked at going, ooh, they're good offensive coordinators, but are they being Mike McDaniel and kill a franchise? Because he's a great coordinator, right? He's a very good coordinator for the Pats, but every time he's been a head coach, he's been complete dog shit. So I remember at the beginning of the year, I had that one of my things for the Bears was, is Ben Johnson a good head coach or is he just a good coordinator? And I think that we can say with this has to go over multiple years, but the early return being year one is Ben Johnson's a good head coach. And so is Cohen. I think he's a good head coach. Now we'll see what they do in year 2 and 3 and beyond, because Matt Nagy looked like a great head coach in 2018, and then 2019 and 2020 happened. So we'll see.
Liam Cohen was an assistant to Sean McVay, and Ben Johnson was an assistant to Dan Campbell. If you're an assistant to Dan Campbell and Sean McVay, you're being prepared to be a head coach.
No, Ben didn't come out of the Campbell tree though. Initially, didn't he come from someone else and then went to Campbell?
I thought he came from like I thought he came from the Kyle Shanahan tree.
Yeah, he's from a different tree, and then he went to Campbell to be an OC. But I wouldn't give Campbell I think he gets. In fact, I think that relationship with Dan Campbell is a lot more reciprocal than people thought, because Dan Campbell learned a thing or two from Ben Johnson about how you comport yourself on the sideline during a game, right? But post game, you see that man so fired up. I think I think there was a lot of reciprocalness in Detroit when they were there, but I wouldn't say Ben is from the the Campbell tree.
Well, Johnson started his pro career with Miami as an offensive assistant, became assistant quarterbacks coach, then became assistant receivers coach, then became receivers coach, then went to Detroit as their tight ends coach,
Maybe he was a Campbell.
then OC, and now head coach of the Bears.
I guess he would be a Campbell guy then. I thought there was some McVay stuff in there or something. Maybe they were together. Okay,
Leon Cohen was with McVay.
Yeah,
with the Rams, and then Todd Bowles with the Bucs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah.
I look at the awards this year. There are no clear-cut winners. I don't think for any of these awards. Like Coach of the Year, you've got 2 or 3 really tough candidates to choose from. All 3 first-year coach of their team. MVP, you've got some tough candidates there too.
Mm-hmm.
I think the MVP is between 3 guys right now. One of them's in LA, one of them's in Buffalo, one of them's in New England.
And you forgot the guy who just tied a Hall of Famer for the most comebacks in NFL history with under 2 minutes in a season, and threw a 60-yard dime in a win that made field goal kickers bend it like Beckham.
And
I'm sorry, Caleb has part of that. Caleb has to be part of that conversation too.
And by the way, Ken, I'm also leaving off a guy who tied. I think who is it? Pat Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Josh Allen with 10 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Or Dylan, you know what you forgot to mention? A guy in Buffalo, Josh Allen, for the 2nd year in a row, had to be an elite with basically a poor roster, and he's done it again.
By the way, Jamie, bad news. I think the Eagles beat up on the Bills this weekend. Josh Allen was not himself in second half.
Josh this season's not been nearly as good as he was last season. However, I can see why Jamie makes the argument, because the games they have won, more times than not, he's had to be Superman and do just some crazy shit. How many NFL quarterbacks was it ran for 3 and have run for 3 and thrown for 3 in the same game? Only 2 in NFL history, and one guy's done it twice. And that one guy is Jamie's quarterback. So I think,
like I said, here's also the thing too, Ken. He's shown he could be elite for the 2nd year in a row with basically a bad roster. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes couldn't even do that.
Yeah, but like when you talk about Joe Burrow, he was out for 80% of the season. Lamar was out a bit. I get your argument, but
right, but still, Joe Burrow, take away Jamar Chase and
if you're gonna have Drake May in this,
T. Higgins
if you're gonna have Drake May in this conversation, you got to have Caleb Williams in this conversation. I mean, Drake May's had a much easier schedule than Caleb's had on top of it.
Which is why I don't have him number 1 on my list. I don't think Caleb's been consistent enough, because we're also forgetting 2 other guys.
Who?
One of which is 150 yards away from being the first one to do it twice, and that's to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving,
CMC,
and that's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He's 151 yards receiving from being that first guy to do it twice.
Yep.
And there's only 3 guys that have ever done it. But then also, Dylan, I got to give your guy some juice.
Yeah.
I got to give Sunshine some juice.
Trevor?
Because
Sunshine.
I mean,
Sunshine.
if you look at the proper meaning of MVP, all the guys we've been talking about fit the definition. To me, Stafford is the guy to knock off the list. I'm sorry, if anybody gets hyper about that, but Stafford is my guy that's on top right now. You got to knock him off the top. Everybody else is right there fighting for it, but to me, it's Stafford and then everybody else.
And by the way, Rich, you might disagree with me, but the fact T.J. Watt's a Pro Bowl from the umpteenth time, but he's not having a good year is a joke. But that's either here or there.
What about Travis? What about Travis Kelce? He hasn't done anything this year either.
Some guys just get in because they're fan favorites and they get on name rec. But to go back to Rich, though, like Rich, you've got a good point on Stafford. But one thing that they'll look at are the comfort behind victories and being able to lead your team to victory against the impossible odds week in and week out. Caleb owns that right now in this league this year. So that's why I'm saying I'm not saying he should win it, but I'm saying he should be in the topic, in the conversation, because voters look at that's part of what voters are going to look at. They're like, yeah, great, the guy threw for 4,000 yards, but what else did they do? And then they go, Caleb, who can still hit 4,000 and be the first Bear to ever do it. But even if he doesn't, they'll go, man, the Bears team went from a 5-win team to be it an 11 or a 13-win team. And they'll have to look at Caleb and, well, how'd they do it? Well, look at all these drives that Caleb orchestrated to pull games out. Look at that 60-yard pass. Technically, it's a 45-yard touchdown, but that ball was in the air for 60 yards before he let it rip. They'll look at stuff like that. Go, well, wait a minute. I mean, I'm not saying he should win it, but he should definitely be in the conversation. And there's a case.
Oh, but the thing,
not only.
but here's the thing: how many comebacks has he had?
He just tied Peyton Manning for all time in a single season with 6.
Okay, and how many of those 6 did he bring on himself?
None of them.
With a bad pass, with a pick, with a fumble, with whatever. How many of those did he cause himself? He had to make a great drive to come back because he fouled it up.
Yeah, he's only got 6 turnovers on the year. He has 6 turnovers on the year.
Well,
I understand.
Yeah, he's got a good TD to interception ratio. I mean, that's the other thing. His completion percentage is going to hurt him. That's why he won't win.
Hey guys, we know what's coming in a couple of days. Santa's coming. Bring us all presents. Quickly talk about a Christmas memory in your life.
I'm just going to my grandparents.
Oh, nice. What about you, Ken?
So many of them do. I'm 53 years old. I've had a lot of Christmas memories. There have been football games, basketball games, family time. I mean, this year will be a little different because we do Christmas Eve now, especially with the grandbaby because they're not here for Christmas. So on Christmas Day this year, we're doing. My wife self-anointed herself the get-together person for our HOA. So our quarterly get-together is going to be Christmas Day at our house. We're having a Christmas party for people in the neighborhood, stuff like that. So that'll be different this year. And I've got a good buddy of mine coming up from Orlando, his family. They're going to stay with us because his daughter lives up here. So they're going to go surprise her, and hopefully she's not watching. And so they're coming up. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of great games, sporting events that we've watched over the years on Christmas.
Yeah, Big Rich. Every time we hit the holidays, there was a famous football game involving the Steelers, if my memory serves me right.
Well, it was a little before Christmas, but yeah.
I'm trying to find.
I think it was Christmas Eve.
The Immaculate Reception, yeah, it was December 23rd.
What? That's today?
Yeah, but no, when it comes to the memory end of stuff, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of stuff with my folks and that kind of deal, but Steelers played the Texans. What was the year J.J. Watt tore his ACL? 19? And they played Christmas Day in Houston, and we did everything here Christmas Eve because my wife's Christmas gift to me was tickets to the Steelers and Texans game in Houston. We were in the corner of the end zone about 12 rows up, and that was, and of course the Texans were sucking out loud at that point, so it was definitely a Steelers home game in that joint. And it was just the best way to spend Christmas with my wife at a Steeler game. Only thing that would have been better is if it would have been at Heinz Field. And yes, it's still Heinz Field.
Wasn't that the game DeAndre Hopkins made one of the craziest catches I've ever seen?
It was, and he was one of the only healthy stars on that team because Deshaun Watson was hurt for the year. J.J. Watt got hurt for the year. I'm trying to remember who the running back was at that time, but he was done for the year. D-Hop was the only, and that was when he was in his prime as one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the league. And he made a phenomenal catch.
They had Brandon Cooks too, right?
Yeah.
They could.
That might have been. That might have been Will Fuller.
Yeah, Will Fuller.
Yeah.
So
Will Fuller was their 3 receiver.
We're gonna talk sports. I was at the game where James Harrison speared that fan for running on the field on Christmas Eve.
Gotta love James Harrison, man. He was great.
I remember watching some great Bulls games with Jordan and Pippen in the crew, back in the day.
Didn't James Harrison get suspended for knocking out Colt McCoy?
Well, maybe. Hey, I got to ask you guys a question, though, because I know it hit me. And, Adam, I got to ask you specifically. But Detroit-Pittsburgh last week, and we get that close to the end of the game. How much were you sitting there flashing back to Thanksgiving with Bettis? If we go to overtime, they damn well better put a big-ass X on that coin, and they better do whatever it takes to make sure their referee hears it right so they don't screw it up. Steelers didn't win another game.
Is that thing, though, now with the new rule, though, that each team's going to get the ball at least once?
That was, well, yeah, but
that was back when first team to score field goal or touchdown.
You're right.
In 98.
You're right, but the Steelers should have gotten the ball first. And the way that they were playing in that game, they were going to just go right down the field on Detroit.
Yeah, Rich, you weren't here, and Adam. I don't think. Well, Rich, Adam, and Jamie, neither of you guys were here when Dylan and I were talking about it. But, I'm sorry, Adam came in late, so he heard about this. But watching that game, I don't know if you watched it or not. Adam was in the truck, so he's on the radio going, "What the hell's going on?" That's what the TV was like. Like after the touchdown, everyone was just kind of standing around, looking. Coaches, players are like, "So is it a score? Is the game over? Who won the game?" Everyone's just kind of looking around, confused. The referees are huddling up, and I thought the way the ref did this, he created as much controversy only because of the way he said it. He comes out and says, "The ruling on the field is a touchdown by Detroit." Fans go crazy. They think we just win the game. We're still in the playoffs. But then he goes, "There is a flag on the play, offensive pass interference." Fans are still yelling. "Offensive pass interference number 14. The game is over." Lions fans are still cheering like, "Okay, whatever, we won." Then he goes, "No, the game is over. Detroit lost, or Pittsburgh wins." Whatever how he said that. But it was like he gets Detroit all happy, saying they've scored a touchdown, just to take his hand, shove it in their chest, rip their hearts out, throw on the turf, and do a dance on.
Well, there's two things to that.
He should have just said offensive pass interference and been done with it.
Yeah, but there's two things to that. One, they do it all the time. The field goal is good on the play, roughing the kicker or whatever. Okay, so they always tell you what the result of the play was, and then, but also the lateral from Brown should have never been allowed in the first place. He was driven back 5 yards. His forward motion left 30 minutes before that play got blown. And
that's true too.
They should have never allowed the flip in the first place. Yeah. Now everybody talks about it wasn't offensive PI. Anybody that watches that play sees him go.
It was. Yeah, it was.
But the whole thing with me was the forward motion was stopped immediately, and he was driven backwards, and they never blew the whistle.
I would argue the first one's the one where that was not OPI. Second one, okay, but
yes, it was. It was a pick.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, but you know what?
Yes, it was. You cannot make contact more than 1 yard past the line of scrimmage.
But the rule states that. Okay, but the rule states, because Cole Kmet got burnt on one this year too, and the rule is fucking stupid. The rule states that you cannot make contact post 5 years or more to the point that you may not initiate the contact. So on a pick play, this is where it gets kind of iffy. Cole Kmet on a play earlier this year, he got flagged for just that thing. Cole Kmet, so they called it offensive PI. Cole Kmet had his back turned to the guy, did not initiate contact. The guy ran into him, and he got flagged for it.
Yeah.
So the rule is kind of like one of those, okay, it's kind of like with Jordan Love and dropping his helmet to draw the 15-yard penalty, which we've seen quarterbacks do all year across this league. They're about to get hit. They know they are. I just dropped the head just enough so there's some helmet to helmet. I know I'm going to get a 15-yard flag regardless, because protect the quarterback at all costs. So these pick plays, I think the referees need to go back to school on it, because if the player that's setting the pick, if you will, does not initiate contact and the defender runs into the offensive player, that is not offensive PI. I am sorry.
Right, but on that particular play, and I think it was Jameson Williams, I could be wrong. Whenever he came off the line of scrimmage, he ran directly to Kyle Duggar and knocked him. Duggar was the man on St. Brown.
Right.
He came straight across and ran smack into Kyle Duggar,
Right.
preventing him from drifting over with St. Brown. That particular call, that was OPI from the minute it happened.
Right.
I do agree with what you're saying, though. You've got to initiate contact. And in that particular situation, yeah, that was a screwball call on the Bears. And it's happened before.
Yeah.
The bad part of it is, in situations like that, it's subjective. You know, there should be cut and dry way of calling it, but
I don't want
it goes back to that thing of on every particular play you could call holding. It's just a matter of to what degree.
I don't want to say make those plays reviewable, but I think they should be able to use replay assist. So maybe the middle ground is on a pick play OPI, like the Cole Kmet play, or even like the JMO play, right? When you throw the flag, let there be an assist. Let them look at New York. It doesn't take you the full 2 or 3 minutes. You see how fast that system works. Let it work. And same with these quarterbacks with the helmet to helmet contact. Like, Packer fans. Booker is a dirty player. Booker kept lowering his helmet lower and lower and lower. So what does Jordan Love do? He lowers his helmet, and then Packer fans, well, he was getting hit from behind. No, he wasn't. He was trying to draw the flag. And he did draw the flag and got a concussion in the process. I mean, with the, or sometimes the way they call, it was okay to hit the quarterback because he was in the process of giving himself up, but did not give himself up. Well, sometimes if you breathe on him when they're giving him up, you get the flag. That's not called adequately the same across the board. So, I mean, I think with the NFL, not that they need to make rule changes, but they need to address how these things are called across the league, because like some of these pick plays where they're calling offensive pass interference aren't. If the defender is initiating the contact and gets picked, that's on the defender for running into the dude. I don't have to get out of his way. Why should the offensive player have to move out of the way of a defender? Why should a defensive player, what's he supposed to do if the quarterback lowers his helmet? I mean, what can he reasonably do? And even if you go to the other 15-yard flag on Booker, was for putting his entire body weight on Love. How many guys are putting their full body weight in their guy with their left hand fully extended to keep their body off them while rolling off to the right to not put his body on? How is that putting your full body? It's stuff like that. And it's not just that it happened in the Bears game. It happens in every game. That irks me. And irks every single one of us every week we watch games and we complain about the officiating.
Well, I've argued that forever. That what do they expect these guys to do? Change the laws of physics?
Yeah.
You're going down. You're heading straight toward the guy. What are you supposed to do? The defensive back that's coming across the middle and the receiver ducks his head. Well, okay, what's the guy supposed to do? Stop in the middle of what he can't do that.
Is he supposed to stand straight up and let the guy spear him with his helmet in the chest?
If they would just go back to the fact that this is a collision sport, people are going to get hit. I promise you, one of the biggest reasons why guys are getting hurt, and I know this is going to sound dumb, but because they're not going 100%. Because if you go 100% and blast somebody, okay, that receiver might not get up. But he's probably not getting up because you knocked the wind out of him. Maybe you broke a rib or something like that. Okay, that's one thing. But having to be very careful and tiptoe and all, Non-contact injuries. How many of these ACL injuries are non-contact?
Well, yeah,
90% of them.
90%. And you look at some of these ankles and backs, the same thing. It's like, I understand you want to protect the quarterback, but once again, the guy is launched midair to dive at the quarterback, and the quarterback lowers his helmet. What's the guy to do in that nanosecond? I mean, I'm sorry. Or what's that corner where the wide receiver dips his head down? What's that corner supposed to do? Lift his head up and let the other guy's helmet hit him in the chin? I mean, the defender needs to be protected too.
Exactly. And they're so concerned about these offensive guys that, they're not making it football.
Hey guys, now in 21 in college football playoff time, we saw the first games. Don't even get me started with Tulane, James Madison, but that's neither here nor there. Do you think we see? Who do you think advances New Year's Eve, New Year's Day?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Who's going first?
Guess what I will not be watching.
Games are Cotton Bowl, Miami and Ohio State, Orange Bowl, Oregon, Texas Tech, Rose Bowl, Alabama, Indiana, and Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss, and Georgia.
Yep. You want me to go first?
Yes, Grand Poobah.
Hold on, guys. I have to boogie. I need to. Tomorrow's the last day, so I just wanted to pop on and say hi. Thanks everyone for the show.
Merry Christmas, Adam, and hopefully Josh behaves.
If my delivery is late, I know whose fault it is, Adam.
Dude, if I'm delivering to Pensacola, I'm staying, or wherever I'm going down there, I'm staying.
There you go.
I'm knocking on your door and be like, Ken, I'm staying at your house for a couple days.
Hey, I got room in the room behind me in the music room.
Oh, I'll probably be at the beach, but anyway.
Adam, we've got a few bears on the bed, but
anyway, you get me at that. I don't know why. Like, it didn't even ask me my Twitter name or anything today. It just asked me for a name. That's weird. Rich, are we going tomorrow night or no?
I don't think so. I know I'm going to have family all over here and all that kind of thing. It's going to be.
I wasn't sure, but you saw we signed Dominic Fletcher, right?
Yeah.
We signed Dominic.
You also saw that the Pirates signed my boy,
Ryan O'Hearn.
Ryan O'Hearn is now a Pittsburgh Pirate, ladies and gentlemen.
Right,
thank you very much.
We were talking about Jack Sawinski's replacement. That might be it.
He can play first. He can play right. He can DH.
No, I'm talking about Dominic Fletcher.
Dominic Fletcher is going to be okay, but he's going to be a bench. He's going to be a role player.
Right. He's going to be better than Jack Sawinski.
I'm better than Jack Sawinski.
Olivia Dunn's better than Jack Sawinski.
I mean, come on, man.
I was just saying. Anyway, you can get me at Sports Talking on Twitter. I wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone, guys. Just throwing that out there. And you can get me at Driving to the Top Productions. I'm not on Facebook. Actually, I think I shared it to Facebook.
They should just get married anyway.
It's been almost a month since I've done a show, so bear with me. Are we gonna all be back next Tuesday?
If I'm
yeah, I will.
I'll be here.
Right,
I'll make a different background for the 30th. Instead of gingerbread, it'll be fireworks.
Okay. All right. Dylan's in charge of backgrounds lately. Got it. Anyway, guys, I thank you all. It has been a great year, and I am getting out of here. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. I'm not too far behind you, but see you later, man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
So, Dylan, I mean, I'm saving my favorite for last. I think Ohio State kicks the living dog out of Miami. I think Ohio State beats them by 2 touchdowns. Georgia, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has something to play for because they want to basically give the middle finger to Lane Kiffin. But I still think Georgia beats them. But it's going to be really close. I'd say with the spread is 6.5. If I'm betting the spread, I'm taking Ole Miss. But give me Georgia straight up. Of course, for entertainment purposes only. I'm taking Indiana to beat Alabama. I think that our Heisman Trophy winner is a really, really good quarterback, and Coach Signetti is a really good coach. And I think they're going to force Kalen DeBoer's squad to make some dumb mistakes, like they do have a tendency to do. And I think Indiana wins. And then guns up, baby. Tech's going to beat Oregon. Oregon's a 1.5 favorite. Not quite sure why, but Tech is going to run the ball on them. Cameron Dickey, I think, is going to have 100+. And Baron Morris is probably going to throw for 250. I think Tech wins that game by a touchdown.
You know what? I think Miami Ohio State's going to be a very low scoring game. I'm telling you this, Miami impressed me because Miami played like an SEC team and beat the you-know-what. Everybody's thinking, well, Miami's quarterback did nothing. Yeah, Miami's quarterback did nothing because A&M did piddly poo. They put up 3 points.
Nothing because their quarterback was out partying the night before.
Oh, that too. And let me tell you this.
Marcel Reese was out partying the night before the game.
And he should have been benched for it.
Only problem is with doing that, you really had no chance against Miami.
Well, maybe maybe just run the ball. I mean, Marcel Reese played a whole game. And to be honest with you, Ohio State, I don't think Ohio State's got a great offensive line. I mean, Stain wasn't great in the Big Ten title game. And I don't think I think Miami's going to have a huge ship now. I think Ohio State wins, but I think it's a low-scoring game. Orange Bowl, the better coach and the better quarterback on the same team. But unlike last year, I think the Ducks come from Eugene, Oregon to Hard Rock Stadium and quack on Texas Tech. I know Texas Tech is the one team nobody's talking in the playoff, but Texas Tech's only basically played BYU. I think Oregon's got a better quarterback, better coach, and I think Oregon's going to be revved up. I'm going to save the Rose Bowl for last. I would love if Lane Kiffin coached Ole Miss because I think Ole Miss matches up really well with Georgia. But Georgia, Kirby Smart's not losing twice in the Superdome. I think Georgia wins. High-scoring game. And you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think number one's going down in Pasadena again. I know Coach Sinelli's been great, but Kalen DeBoer as an underdog coach scares the living bejeebers out of me. I think Kalen DeBoer could shove the middle finger all the way to Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah. I don't think you're right. It could happen. I mean, but I don't think you're right.
And I'm telling you this: Indiana will go from the hunter to the hunted. That happened to Oregon last year, and they laid an egg in Pasadena. And Indiana's lost a defensive lineman. I think if Alabama can protect Simpson like the Tide did after being down 17-0, so what if Alabama's throwing it 40 times? They can't run the ball anyway.
Ty Simpson, I have zero faith in.
I have more faith in Ty Simpson and Julian Sain, even though he's got the two best wide receivers in the country.
I was going to say, I don't know about that. I've got more faith in Sain. But I also look at the coaches at the same time. I think Ryan Day is a better coach than Kalen DeBoer. Sorry.
Jamie, you have a say?
Let's see here.
Or I'm sorry, I meant Signetti, not Ryan Day. My bad. Sorry, Jamie.
All right. Let's start out with the let's start out. Let's start out with Miami and Ohio State. I think Ohio State wins in a close game against Miami. That'll be a tight one there. Give me the Hoosiers to beat Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. I like Dante Moore in Oregon to go beat Texas A&M. I like Ole Miss, but I got a little question and song for you though.
What?
Who's that walking down the track? It's the Mean Machine and the Red and Black. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a good old drunken Georgia fan. Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sick 'em. Give me Georgia over Ole Miss.
At least he didn't pull a McAfee and go Ole Miss after he did all that.
Ooh!
But he did pick Georgia to beat Texas last year when he did it too. And
By the way, the kicker for McAfee's kicking contest was better than either kicker in College Station on Saturday, but that's going other shit. I've got a question for you guys. Back to the NFL. Who's been the best running back this year, objectively?
It's between Taylor and Cook.
If you'd asked me that question 6 weeks ago, I'd have said Taylor, but that ain't it. He had done squat lately.
Cook's leading the league in rushing.
McCaffrey. To me, it's McCaffrey, and everybody else is fighting for second.
My list would have McCaffrey, Gibbs, Swift.
Gibbs has really struggled the last couple of weeks, though, Ken.
Who?
None of you guys have
Swift,
James.
averaging almost 100 yards a game, over 5 yards a carry.
Do what?
Swift is still averaging almost 100 yards a game, 5 yards a carry. I mean, I think the problem with the NFL running backs is like it's duos now, right? It's Monty and Gibbs, and Gibbs scored a ton of touchdowns. He's had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Swift's had a good year, but so is Monangai. Look at Monangai is going to be short, but the Bears are going to have one with 1,000, another guy with about 800, 900 yards. I mean,
well, and I'll tell you, nobody better sleep on Jamie's guy though, Ken.
I'll tell you this.
Cook
is number one in rushing.
Yeah, Cook has been great. CMC is still great. You know, I think the problem is that last year we saw what we saw with Saquon. This year, no one did that. It's just a normal year. And so, being that it's a normal year to have a guy who's just like destroying everyone like that, it's harder to judge it. But I mean, look, I carry Cook on my sleeve. He's my keeper. I've had him as a keeper on my fantasy for 2 years, and guess what? I'm going to keep him again this year. I get to keep 4 players, and guess what? 2 of my keepers play for Jamie's team. My running back,
the thing you got to look at too, though, is that Cook is going to end the year with about an 85 to 90 yard per game average rushing, not counting what he does in the receiving game. Yeah. So total yards, he's going to be well over 100 yards a game, which is something that doesn't happen a lot nowadays. You know, everybody's flipping out. Oh, he's 1,000-yard rusher. He's that's 60 yards a game.
That's because no one's really doing the single back workhorse anymore. So many teams that are you know, the Bruise brothers, you know, Monangai and Swift, or Sonic and you know, and what they're doing in Detroit. Mm-hmm. You know, Corum and what's his name out there in LA. So I mean, you're doing a lot of two-headed monster things, not a lot of single feature backs.
Right.
So when I go to single feature backs, yeah, it definitely goes to him and CMC, because if you look at who has the most impact on a game as a running back, they are probably individually the biggest two, but there are a lot of other running backs who are having Jahmyr Gibbs.
Look at Devon Achane in Miami.
Achan's another one who's put up some good numbers this year, and he made them stay relevant when they probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I mean, he's third in the league in rushing, but if you look at his game by game, you know, he'll go from 120 and 130 to 60 and 81.
Yeah.
It's not a case where he's
Cooks has had some bad games though too, because like I said, he's my fantasy guy, and there've been a couple weeks where he's been a dog for me. So he's had some inconsistencies too, but those were weeks where even Josh Allen was bad. But like last week for fantasy, Josh Allen was terrible for him, but Brandon Cooks was good. So
yeah, I mean, James Cook has had some weeks where he wasn't, you know, the greatest. But when you look at his bad weeks, I mean, it's a case where I'm looking at his numbers right now. Okay, in his last 6 games, he's gone 117, 107, 80, 144, 116. Then he had 48 and 53. But then the games before that, he went 114, 216. So this last half of the year, Cook's been the guy, man. Cook has been the guy.
He's at 993 yards right now. And if I go to his against Green Bay last week, guess how many yards Swift had against the Packers? Wow.
70?
Oh, he had a ton.
121. So the last couple games, like okay, against Pittsburgh, he only had 15. Then he has 125 against Philly, 63 against Green Bay, 98. Okay, that number must be combined. 98 against Cleveland, 58 this week, which was also his lowest average. Actually, it was funny because he only had 8 carries though against Pittsburgh, 1.9 average. His low average was actually this week 4.5, so I was wrong with the 5. But he had 6.9 yards per carry against Philly. My God.
Oh no, he had 2.5 against Dallas and 2.7 against Las Vegas.
In December, 44 carries, 219 yards, 5 yards per carry average in December. For the year, he's averaging 4.9.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Swift and when you look at, you know, and Monangai and some of these guys, I mean, Javonte Williams has got 1147. Okay. Rico Dowdle's over 1,000 yards. That right there tells you no questions asked that the 1,000-yard threshold is worthless.
Well, yeah, with it being the season as long as it is, because like, look, he's 7 yards away from 1,000, and I want to say the non-guy is going to end up with like maybe 8, almost 900. With a 17-game season, you don't have to average 100 anymore. Even in the 16, you didn't have to do it. But
if Monangai has a couple of really good games, he could get over 9, because he's a 731.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes 90 or 100 those last 2 games. He could be mid 900s.
I mean, and Monangai and Swift both had over 100 against Philly. And that was the first time it had happened for the Bears since 85. But that's the problem with the running back situation is so many guys are splitting carries, and then you get your guys like Cook, who really doesn't split carries like they do. If you look at Josh Jacobs, normally does not split carries. And then you look though, Montgomery and what's going on in Detroit, they always, they split. And now in Chicago, Swift is never going. He's going to always split. with Monangai. And so it's a little bit harder. CMC doesn't really split with anyone. It's a little bit harder, I think, to pick who the best running back is because there are two different styles of running back play right now. Are you the feature back who is the only one who gets the ball, like the old school way, or are you part of a tandem now? So that's a much harder question than it was 5 years ago.
When you look at the top 10 in yards, okay, 8 of the 10 are almost exclusive running backs. Taylor, Achane, Henry, Bijan, Javonte Williams, Barkley, McCaffrey. The only two that aren't are Jahmyr Gibbs and Kyren Williams. And Kyren Williams has really only been splitting the load for the last few weeks.
Right.
I'd say the last, 5-6 weeks with Blake Corum. So, I mean, you're 100% right that with the exception of Jahmyr Gibbs, those guys that are the solo running backs are going to be the ones that are at the top of that sheet.
And the only reason Jahmyr Gibbs is in that conversation is because of the touchdown record for being, that he tied Barry Sanders for being the youngest for most touchdowns by a running back by age 24. If not for that, he's not even in the conversation this year.
Yeah, but if you look at the highest yard average per carry, you know who has the highest average yards per carry amongst qualifying guys?
What?
Is Achane. Achane's 5.8 yards a pop, and he's got a half-yard lead over second place, which is Gibbs. So that kind of says something too.
And that's like if you go to the receiving core, it's so hard to just pick a receiver because so many of these good teams now have 2 or 3. 1 week, think about it, for the Bears, 1 week DJ Moore gets 1 target and Rome Odunze gets all the balls. The next week, Rome gets 1 target and it's Luther Burden, the third, who gets the balls. You got even like with Puka. Puka got his production cut. Why? Because Devontae gets the touchdown grab.
It also has to do with the fact, like I said, some of the tight ends now are becoming the new receivers. The way these tight ends play.
Yeah, Brock Powers, right? Exactly. You're right. Colson Loveland is taking some balls away. I mean, the offensive skill players. It's harder to pick who's the best running back or receiver. I think tight end is still a position group that you can maybe. Most teams don't have like the Bears have, where you have a Colson Loveland and a Cole Kmet. You have a really good tight end, and then you have some big drop off. So tight end overall is
Buffalo with Knox and Kincaid.
What now?
Yeah.
Or the Bills, you have Knox and Kincaid and Jackson.
Well, yeah, but Knox, for most people, Knox had fallen off the train, like where people were saying he wasn't even relevant, which I disagreed with. But you're right, Jamie. I mean, the Bills are another team that are like the Bears, but they're the exception to the rule in the league. They're like the 5% of the league that has that. The other 95% doesn't. But when you come to running backs and receivers now, there's so much of by committee with big name guys. I mean, look at the Eagles. Who is it going to be this week? That's why Brown was wanting to trade, because it can't be Brown every week. Look at Tampa. When they're healthy, they're receiving core. 1 week it's going to be Mpuke, another weekend it's going to be. It's really hard with some of these position groups the way that the game is now played by having multiple big names that could be the guy on any given week. So 1 week you may get 10 receptions and put up 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. The next week you get 2 targets.
Hey guys, you have. By the way, we all play fantasy football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I stopped this year, but I'm going to again next year.
Any surviving Week 17 teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a team left in the DK Million Maker, and I've got a chance to win $2 million this week.
Yeah, I don't do any of the mine's just a Huddle Sports League. But
yeah. And by the way, in my Yahoo League, the 1 and 2 seeds both lost.
Hey, the team that we drafted that one night, how'd that team do?
I don't know.
For the one
Well-
draft show, I
And by the way, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but my quarterbacks on that team, Lamal and some guy you may have heard of on my team.
Yeah, Sunshine.
Trevor. So,
Well, actually, Dylan, I got a bigger question. How many teams did you draft this year?
I drafted 115 million maker, that probably close to 200.
Okay, you drafted 200 teams. Are you plus or minus money wise with that?
I have no idea. It depends on this week.
Well, without this one team, with all the other teams besides your one that's in it for the big prize, how'd you do on the aggregate across the board of your 200?
Better than last year. I think last year I had like 18 or 19 of my 150 in the make week 15. This year was 31, so it was better than last year.
So did you break even or go ahead this year?
I think it might be a loss, but again, this first year I've had a week 17 sweat, so you guys want to see the team? I mean, I could. I mean, it's not my favorite team. Let me see.
I can't. I just haven't gotten to the whole sports book, fantasy football. With that, I mean, to me, it seems like just a way for me to lose a lot of money.
Well, I mean,
You mean like the daily fantasy, or
no? It's best ball on DraftKings.
no? I meant Ken.
And just in general,
I mean-
look, at this year I would have made a lot of money because I would have been picking against Vegas because Vegas was picking against the Bears every week. So I would have made money hand over fist overall.
Yeah, won't the Bears like if you got the Bears a 1.5 dog compared to 1.5 favorite?
So you know what's funny? When we did our show last week, they were a 1.5 dog. Wednesday they were a 1.5 dog. Also on Thursday they were a 1.5 favorite. The line shifted.
Here's the thing I can tell you, a voice of experience: never bet your team.
Oh yeah,
Never bet your
But I'm
team
just
because
saying,
your judgment gets clouded, and never
gets
bet the
clouded.
team you hate the most.
well,
That's
and
the other-
I don't like to vote my team because I feel like I'm jinxing them if I vote it, right? Superstitious. But I guess if I would have
there's that too.
if I would have bet the Bears last week when they were a 1.5 dog before they switched the line, I would have cleaned up. I mean,
Yeah.
and the Bears, they picked against the Bears virtually every game. Look, the Bears are the only 11-win team that they were probably the dogs in every single game they played at one point or another during that week.
I'll tell you this, Rich. If you bet the Jags when they were a dog against Indy week 14, you would have cleaned too, because the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since the Millard Fillmore administration, for your presidential historians.
I don't. But I know
I just
some
know-
guys put like $10, $100 on the Bears to win the division, and the odds were stupid. Like Vegas gave the Bears no chance this
By
year.
the way, one of us said the Detroit Lions would miss the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that's
Two
you.
of
You
us
probably
did.
if you bet that the Lions missed the playoffs, you made some good coin.
But no, I had a buddy of mine that was out in Vegas. He used to work out there, and he goes out there to visit every now and then to see some of the guys he works with. Before the season started, I made 3 $20 bets with him. I didn't make them out there. One was my heart, Steelers to win the Super Bowl, which I figured was a fair shot. The second one, and I felt good about it until about 4 weeks ago, was Tampa to win the NFC.
Yeah.
Which we all know that's
Not going to happen.
zero.
Tampa might not even make the playoffs.
But the other one was that I took Denver to win the AFC.
I had Denver. As
That's
the-
got a legit shot.
So, like, look,
And they were
I don't-
15 to
I
1
would-
odds.
throwing like 10 or 20 bucks on your team to go to the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl, that's always a good bet because look
Sure.
at 20 bucks, especially if you're a team like Chicago or you're a team like the Patriots this year, where you knew those odds were going to be huge. Your worst
my
like,
team?
worst case
Yeah.
scenario, I'm losing 20 bucks. But if you hit if the Bears win the Super Bowl this year, when the odds were like horrendously bad for the Bears.
I think the Bears were like 75-1
Yeah,
at their worst point.
Yeah, I mean, you put a $20 bet down, you're clearing house. So like
$1,500, yeah.
That's not a bad bet. But like some of these other, Vegas, I think the problem that Vegas has with the NFL, why I think betting the lines are screwy, is they do the whole thing. We track the numbers and the trend. Okay, cool, but just because a team was bad last year doesn't mean the team's going to be good this year, because you get turnover in personnel, turnover in coaching, you get a draft, and the draft's always a 50-50 proposition to begin with. And then even within the season, like with this Bears-Packers game, they did not account for Micah Parsons being gone at first. They made them favorites because they didn't account for the lack of Micah Parsons in the pass rush, which they should have. And then they did account for that Thursday, but for the first couple weeks of betting, anyone who bet against Vegas Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday last week got paid. If you took the Bears to win with the points, you got paid too.
Yeah, and that's why it's fluid, even from the beginning of the season, because the beginning of the season, the Bears were 75-1. Right now, they're 12-1.
They were probably a lot worse than that.
Hey, Rich, can I let me see if I can guess the Super Bowl odds right now. Let me see if I could guess the Super Bowl odds right now. I'm guessing the Rams are number 1.
Well, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm using, just so that everybody is clear on this, I'm using DraftKings Sportsbook as my guide for this. Who'd you say is first?
The Los Angeles Rams.
That would be correct.
Number 2 would be Seattle.
That would also be correct.
Let me see.
You have a 3-way tie for 3rd, 4th, 5th.
1 would be the Philadelphia Eagles.
That would be incorrect.
1 would be the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
1 would be the New England Patriots.
Right.
And would Denver be the other one?
Denver would be they're all 9-1. Seattle's 5.5-1. Rams are 4-1.
Let me see if I could get. And then Philadelphia next, right?
Right. They're 10-1.
Would Jackson be at 15 or 20?
Say again?
Would Jackson be at 15 or 20?
Neither.
What's Jacksonville's number?
Jacksonville's 12.
Okay, with Chicago.
Yeah. San Francisco is 13. Houston is 15. Green Bay is 16. Chargers at 19. Steelers are still 35. They were 50 when I bet them at the preseason. But the Steelers are 35.
By the way, guys, top 5 power rankings. I will go first because number 5, New England. By the way, I think Drake May should be in the MVP race too, but that's just me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But by the way, how about that throw he made to who was it? The throw he made to Diggs and the throw he made to Booty on Sunday night.
You mean the one that the interference didn't get called?
that might have been the worst call I've seen all year. That was a blatant PI.
That might be the worst call in the history of football.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder tweeted that was pass interference.
No, Raider fans know the immaculate reception is the immaculate deception. I'm kidding, Rich. I'm kidding. Number 4, even though the Broncos forgot how to play defense, I think Bo Nix and the Broncos offense put up over 400 yards. I think the Broncos are missing J.K. Dobbins because he's got that video Harvey. I don't know if the Broncos have a true number one, and maybe the Broncos were feasting on crappy offensive lines because despite getting 5 sacks, I mean, Trevor played really well against Denver. Number 3, Ken, you're going to love me. The Bears are number 3 on my spunky power rankings. I think Chicago, and it doesn't matter how you win. Caleb's been a gamer this year, and what Ben's doing, running the ball. And you know what? The Bears this year have been an opportunistic defense. I mean, how the Bears win? The Bears got an onside kick and then stopped the Packers on 4th down. That's not necessarily luck. Some of it could be luck, but some of it's good coaching. 2, even though this team won the game of the year on Thursday night, Seattle's number 2. I'm still a little worried about Seattle's lack of big game experience, but Jackson Smith and Jacobs has been unbelievable this year. And defensively, the 12s will come and hit you square in the jaw. Rich, you know what happened week 2. That's no fluke what the Seahawks did, right?
Huh? No, Seattle's a good ball club, man.
And
they're flying under the radar, but
number 1, the Los Angeles Rams, even though they lost. I mean, the Rams special teams and secondary units scared the living you-know-what out of me. But if Puka and Devontae Adams are healthy going into the playoffs, no team's got that dynamic duo. Big Sexy.
Yeah, I was sitting here going through these. I couldn't do 5. I had to go 10.
Okay.
10, I got Philadelphia. 9, I got the Chargers. 8, I've got Buffalo. 7, I got the Bears. 6, San Francisco. 5, Jacksonville. 4, Denver. 3, the Rams. 2, Seattle. And 1, New England.
And you're dissing me and yet Ken's dissing me for not ranking the Bears higher. I ranked them 3. Okay, Ken.
Yeah. So for me right now, my top, and I don't do the rankings 1 through 5. I just give you my top 5 in no particular order. But my top 2 teams right now got to be the hottest 2 teams: Jacksonville and Seattle. Jacksonville winners of 6 straight. Seattle winners of 5 straight. You're getting hot at the right time. Then, of course, Denver's in the top 5. New England's in the top 5. That's 4. So guess what? Yeah, homer time. The Bears are the other NFC team in the top 5 right now. For me, it's Denver, Seattle, New England, Chicago, Jacksonville are my top 5 in no particular order. The Rams, I think the Rams would be in the top 5 if Devontae is healthy, but Devontae is not healthy right now. And they just lost. I mean, it's not – the Broncos are the only team in my top 5 that just lost, but that was a hell of a game. I can't go, well, if so-and-so is back, because they're not back until they're back. You know what I mean? The Bears, though, I think the case for them is they haven't been doing it with the passing game all year. So with Odunze and Burden being out the last couple games for Odunze and just the last week for Burden, they've been doing it on the strength of the run. They're the number 1 rushing team in the NFL for the last 10 weeks, and they're the number 1 team in the NFL in takeaway. And they're top 5 in red zone defense. And their red zone efficiency went from absolutely horrid to really good. So that's why I put the Bears in the top 5, I would say, over the Rams, because the Rams, you saw a huge drop off in production offensively just by taking out 1 receiver. So the Rams
by the way, you do know, and I got to run after I hit this. You do know you missed the hottest team in football.
Who's the hottest team in football?
Houston, 7 in a row.
Houston almost lost to the Raiders, for heaven's sake.
You know,
I'm
Houston.
just telling you, the Houston Texans have won 7 games in a row. They're the
And
hottest.
yes, Houston's
football. What do you want me
defense
to tell you?
threw some.
If Houston gets in, they're going to be. I wouldn't want to face them because they're hot with their defense right now.
I'll tell you this: I'd rather play the Buffalo Bills over the Houston Texans, and I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, Houston's defense. If they put the clamps down, you're done.
The problem with
You're
Buffalo
100%
and
done.
Houston, they're both very, like none of these teams. And maybe it's because the way my team is playing this year. If I look at the top 10, none of these teams scare me. None of them scare me. They seriously don't. Because, like we said earlier in the show, I can find a hole with every team, and
yeah.
really the biggest hole, the ones who are going to do the worst are the ones that can't stop the run. And
Buffalo.
Buffalo doesn't scare me. They're not going to stop the Bears' run. If we were to meet in the Super Bowl, they are not stopping our run. Our defense may give them a ton of yards, and Josh Allen will do. The only thing that that's a bad matchup for the Bears because the Bears don't do well against running quarterbacks. That's gonna be.
I think that would end up being the highest scoring Super Bowl in history.
It could be. You know what we could see this year on the 40th anniversary? A rematch of Super Bowl 20. That would be interesting.
Stars Patriots.
That'd be it.
Yep. Hey guys, I got a bug.
I'm gonna
and I gotta fly.
I'm gonna end this stream now. Merry Christmas to you guys. I wish you all the best, and maybe the Bears, Bills, Steelers, and Jags could be playing deep into January or February.
Just remember, if it's Bears Steelers in the Super Bowl,
Jags are better.
Just remember, if it's Bears Steelers in the Super Bowl, who's that quarterback?
Ooh.
Here we go. Starts early.
Exactly.
Starts early.
Here we go.
Hey, all I gotta say is this. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that.